Long shadows were cast by the morning sun. The white coffin was painted in shards of blue and gold by St. Michael's Church's stained glass windows. Michael Sullivan stood by himself, his fingers shaking as he adjusted the tiny blue dinosaur perched atop. Tommy had always insisted on fixing the toy's shiny surface. It was a velociraptor. The elaborate arrangement of white roses and falsehoods made it seem out of place for anyone to call it merely a dinosaur. Tommy had been allergic. Michael's voice was hoarse from hours of silence. He would have loathed all these flowers. His phone vibrated. A reminder for something Lily should have remembered had she bothered to assist with the plans. Her message appeared on his pocket's screen. "Sorry, I can't make it to the service. Important business meeting in Seattle. I love you both. Give Tommy a kiss." Michael's fingers clenched around the phone. He'd seen the ticket confirmation email. Seattle. Another lie to add to her expanding collection. According to their shared story, she was in Maui, most likely on a balcony of a luxury resort, viewing the sunrise, while their son lay cold in his coffin. The funeral director's gentle voice interrupted him. "We should start." Michael nodded. As soon as the family was seated, he followed, because he couldn't trust his voice. Tommy's kindergarten teachers arrived, accompanied by neighbors who had seen him chase butterflies in their front yard. Despite the short notice, distant relatives trickled in discreetly, faces wearing the same masks of sorrow and compassion. His mother appeared at his side. "The flowers are lovely, but—" "Michael?" Tommy's eyes were red-rimmed and dry. He was allergic. Lily caressed his arm and murmured, "Where is she having a business meeting? In Seattle?" His mother's face tightened. She should have been here with her son. But Michael broke off, pressing his lips together. "I'm positive that Mom—" He gazed at the coffin. "But I'm not sure." More people showed up. Tommy's best friend from kindergarten arrived, holding a hand-drawn picture. Michael took the drawing of two stick figures playing with dinosaurs, murmuring a soft, "Thank you," his heart tightening at the shaky letters. Best friends for eternity. His phone buzzed. Another message. Long meetings, call as soon as I'm able, just like she had done during Tommy's sickness, during the countless hospital stays, during the nights their son wept for his mother, never understanding why she wasn't there. Not today. The priest stood before them, but he did not come with a prayer book in hand. "Shall we begin?" The ceremony passed in a blur. Hymns, prayers. Michael's responses were automatic. He stood when necessary, sat when asked. Her seat remained empty. His phone vibrated occasionally. More lies. The priest's voice echoed through the church. "During our most painful moments, we can find solace in the knowledge that Tommy is now in God's arms." Michael barely heard him. His thoughts were elsewhere, on Tommy's final request, that last day in the hospital. "Mommy is working hard, buddy." Another lie. His sister-in-law read a poem about angels, but the words burned like glass in his throat. She will see you soon." Michael sat through it all, smiling, as his brother spoke about Tommy's contagious giggle, his dinosaur obsession. At the graveside, they gave him a white rose, but the mask of mourning concealed the inferno building inside him. Instead of the rose, he walked forward and gently placed something else atop the casket, the blue velociraptor. Next to Tommy's favorite book, The Big Book of Dinosaurs. His phone vibrated once more. "Michael, I'm thinking about you too. Call me later." He glanced at the expanding earthen mound that would soon engulf his son. Month after month, he had swallowed the bitter pills of her betrayal. He had collected proof, recorded her lies, secretly prepared for the day he would dismantle her world. She believed she was starting a new life. But first, he would ruin it. The gathering started to disperse. His mother tried to persuade him to come along. "Goodbye, Tommy," he murmured quietly, laying the unopened white rose on the grave. She will regret missing today. Every step he took away from. The tomb brought him closer to the man he used to be, and farther from the man she had betrayed. She thought she was safe in paradise with her lover. But soon, she would learn that just a few button clicks could turn paradise into agony. The time for mourning would come later. 3 months prior, the cracks in her facade had begun to show. It was a Tuesday night in March. A pot of mac and cheese bubbled on the stove as Michael sat at the kitchen table, helping Tommy with his dinosaur puzzle. The boy frowned, holding up a piece with tiny T-Rex claws. "This piece doesn't fit." "Try flipping it around, buddy." At 7:45 p.m., Michael checked his watch. She was late again. Footsteps sounded on the stairs. She swept into the kitchen, wearing a black dress he had never seen before, carrying a sleek briefcase and smelling of unfamiliar perfume. Michael stirred the mac and cheese. "Working late again?" "The Morrison merger is killing me," she said, adjusting her reflection in the microwave door. "Johnson needs these reports by morning." A neutral tone, a calm voice. But in his mind, Michael was tallying the discrepancies. The new outfit, the scent, the hair styled just a little too perfectly for a long day at the office. Her tone held a warning edge. "What does that mean?" "Nothing." He shut off the burner. Tommy's dinner was ready. At the table, Tommy stared up at her with wide, hopeful eyes. "Mommy, will you read my new dinosaur book with me after dinner?" His wife sighed. "Not tonight, sweetheart. I have to leave soon." Tommy's bottom lip quivered. "But, Mommy?" "Do not wait up." Michael's jaw tightened. "When will you be home?" "I'll check. In when I get back, honey." A quick kiss to Tommy's forehead, then she was gone. The door closed. Michael counted to 10. Then he pulled out his phone and opened the banking app. A charge from Sephora, $200, perfume and makeup she had supposedly worn to work that day. That night, after Tommy was tucked in with 2 glasses of water and 3 bedtime stories, Michael sat in his home office and he started looking through bank statements, credit card bills, lingerie store purchases, hotel bar tabs, restaurant, reservations for 2. Then he hovered over their phone carrier's website. 1 click. That's all it would take to see her call logs. Did he really want to know? He needed to know. Her iPad was left on the desk. The password? Tommy's birthday? Hundreds of messages, all saved. His gut lurched as he scrolled. The work project. Folder held conversations and pictures that made him want to vomit. The timestamps. They matched the late meetings. A text from last night. Fantastic. Looking forward to next week's meeting in Seattle. It'll be perfect. No interruptions. Michael's vision blurred. Seattle. The week of her supposed business trip to Hawaii. He took screenshots, sent them to a secure email, then meticulously erased every trace of his investigation. After that, he walked to the bathroom and vomited. When friends learned of her web of lies, her social circle collapsed. Tommy's phone rang with a text from her amid his illness and death, revealing the evidence of her betrayal. "My credit card isn't working. The hotel's Michael says our shared account is empty. What's happening? Are you doing this? Is there an emergency?" Michael didn't reply. Instead, he texted her lover's wife another set of pictures. He had found out months ago. The man wasn't merely cheating on his own wife, he was also having an affair with Michael's wife. "It's awful, Michael. The audit team's preliminary report and the legal department's recent official investigation." Michael checked his watch. Time for phase 3. He smacked her with an extremely awful truth. Michael opened his email and started sending the hospital pictures and records of all the missed appointments every time she opted for her boyfriend over their dying son. He forwarded them to all her friends and relatives. But she ignored the calls. Co-workers, neighbors, those who attended Tommy's burial, those who sent condolences, and those in need. His phone flashed her face during her first direct call. "What have you done?" she asked. "I've revealed the truth," he murmured, calmly answering. "Something you should try sometime. Please, Michael, tell me how Maui is superior to Seattle." Take a deep breath. You don't understand. I've been understanding every lie for months. Every time you chose him over Tommy, it was unfair. When our baby wailed for you in the hospital while you were in a hotel with your boyfriend, was that fair? I can explain. You missed his funeral because you were on vacation in Hawaii. It's particularly interesting for HR, your lover's wife, and your parents. They were placing flowers on Tommy's grave while you were having breakfast with him. She muttered. "You're ruining my life." Michael clarified. "You destroyed it yourself. I'm just making sure everyone knows exactly who you are." Tom examined his phone just before her employer suspended her, awaiting inquiry, suspended without pay. Michael opened his laptop. Speaking of those resources, Michael got another update. As night fell, a snapshot from the PI in Maui showed his wife and her lover fighting near the hotel pool, their faces twisted in rage. Tom gazed over Michael's shoulder. "Trouble in paradise?" Michael smirked. "Watch how quickly he abandons her once the money runs out." A message from the lover's wife buzzed through his phone. "Thank you for being honest with me. I've frozen our accounts and contacted my attorney." Michael sent this message to his wife's lover, who was observing the mayhem. Within minutes, the PI sent fresh pictures from 3,000 miles away. The lover burst out of the hotel, dragging his suitcase behind him. Calls had reduced to a trickle, but each brought news of another severed relationship. Her best friend had just learned the truth. Rachel